Hey everyone, hope everyone has been good. Sorry it's been a while between videos. Today I have my Fender Jag-Stang here, which I will be setting up and showing how I go about the whole setup process. As you'll see, there's a lot of stuff I've got around here to use. I'm going to be changing from 11 to 49s to some Ernie Ball beefy slinkies, 11 to 54s. So I've got some nut files which I'll have to widen the slots to accommodate the new strings with. Feeler gauge to test my neck relief. I've also got some Harron's products, some guitar care products, which I'll be posting a link to in the description and a cheeky discount for anyone who is interested. To start off with, I'll just remove the old strings. Okay, before I get into doing anything more, I'll just mention that my Jag-Stang has had quite a few mods. One of the main things you might have noticed is this Gotoh bridge, which has height adjustable saddles, which is very useful for this guitar in particular, because I have had this guitar re-radiused and re-fretted, so it is no longer a 7¼ inch radius, it is a 9½. And it also has jumbo frets. So that will affect how I do my setup later. So I've decided to lock the tremolo because it's going to suit how I use this guitar better in my projects. So I'll just quickly go ahead and do that. Okay, so I have covered how to lock these tremolo plates before, but go through it again. Basically what I'm doing is removing these springs and adding a washer, or in this case I'll be using a nut in between the cigar tube here and these posts here, so the nut will sit here and it will lock this. I'll also flip this around so I can put the strings straight through the back. So as you can see, I'm just using these nuts as washers on the posts. And screw the cigar tube back on. You can tighten these down with the hex key, but just don't do it too much because you don't want to strip the screws, and it's not even totally necessary. Okay, so I'm just going to use the opportunity now while the bridge is off to clean this plate. Try to get some of the marks off. I'm just using a microfiber cloth. Alright, great. I should also mention that I use this method on this Jag-Stang because I have a Stewmac shim in between the neck and the neck pocket. I'm not sure if you can kind of see it there. I'm using, I believe it's a 1/2 degree shim. So if you are going to lock your tremolo like this, I would suggest shimming your neck, and I'll provide a link in the description for the Stewmac one I use. Okay, so the tremolo plate is all back on. Next thing I'm going to do is check that the neck is straight with no strings on. So I'm just going to check that with my notched straight edge. Okay, it appears that it needs to be tightened a little bit to be completely straight. So I'll pop the neck off and adjust the truss rod to do that. Okay, when tightening these truss rods, a little goes a long way, so don't go crazy and do full turns or anything. You only need to do 1/4 at a time maximum. And there we go, I can feel that's tightened up nicely. I'll just check that with the ruler. Alright, perfect. It's straight, so I can put that back on. Okay, and if you're wondering why I've changed the relief with no strings on to make it straight. Here's the reason. It's because I'm going to be checking now that all the frets are properly seated. I'm going to be doing that with the Stewmac fret rocker. You simply place it across 3 frets, moving along the fret, and if it rocks, then it means that the fret needs to be reseated. So I'm just going to go and check all those frets now for a rock. Okay, so I've gone through and fortunately all of the frets are seated perfectly. If they weren't, I would just have to give them a light tap with the hammer in the spots that they were sticking up, and hopefully they would seat correctly. So I'm ready to move on to the next thing now, which will be giving the frets a little bit of a clean. And I'll be doing that with this 3-step nail buffer. You just work through the grits on each one. Don't go too hard. You don't actually want to change the profile of any of the frets or anything. You're just trying to remove any of the muck on the surface. Now, a good thing to do is to tape off the frets as you're going along, on the fretboard I should say. I just use painter's tape, just something low tack will do the job. Okay, so what I do is I lightly go over the frets at a 45-degree angle on both sides, and then lightly go over the top and repeat that on each step of the buffer file. Okay, so that one's done and it's nice and shiny. I'll just now you might be thinking it's not worth doing this and that you'll skip it, but as I was taught when I first learnt about doing this, it's beneficial for your frets to keep them as clean as you possibly can, because any dirt or build up that gets on the frets will start to corrode and eat away at the frets, so it'll actually reduce the lifetime of your frets. So if you keep them clean and do this, you don't have to do it every time you're doing a string change, but certainly every time you're doing a setup of your guitar, it'll actually help to keep your frets healthy and last longer in the long run. Okay, so I've flown through that, and if you want, you can use some buffing compound as well to make your frets extra shiny. I'd recommend doing that by hand. You can use those Dremel bits from Stewmac. Just be careful not to warm the frets up too much, because you don't want to be messing with the seating of the fret, which can happen if you warm it up too much, and obviously the glue then heats up in the fret slots. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is use this Harron's board sauce on the fretboard just to give it a nice little oil. Now, my fretboard is pretty clean because I tend to clean it. Most times I do a string change and I don't like to keep my board dirty, so what you do is apply it directly to your microfiber cloth, just a couple of spritzes. And work that into your fretboard. You don't have to use too much. As I said, my fretboard's already pretty clean, so I don't even need much. If you've got a really gunky fretboard, what you can do is apply it and let the board source kind of soak into the gunk and muck, and then use your cloth to get it off the board. Okay, so that's done, and you'd think that I'm done with the neck, but not quite. Just got to do some work on the nut now. Because I'm using a higher string gauge, I do have to widen some of these slots, so I'll just go ahead and do that. Now string it up. Okay, now that I've got new strings on and it's tuned to pitch, which in my case is E flat, I'm going to go ahead and check what the neck relief is like now. So just doing that your standard way by using a cape on the first fret, holding the E string down where the neck meets the body, so in this case 17th fret, and then I'll be looking at the 7th fret for there to be about 0.25 of a millimeter of relief, which there is, which is perfect. So that's good. Okay, so now I'll be checking string height. So I'll be using my string action ruler. Apologies for being on the metric side of the world for everyone watching in America, but I like my action to be at about 1.5 millimeters measured at the 17th fret. And because I'm using this particular Gotoh Tuneomatic, which has height adjustable saddles, I can adjust that so the action is the same for each string. If you have a normal Tuneomatic and you've already filed it to be following the radius, obviously you can only check the 2 E strings, and the same with the Mustang Bridge too, you can just set it at the 2 E strings. If your fingerboard radius is at 7¼ inches rather than 9.5 like mine, you might find that for your low E string you'll have to raise the height just a little bit. But yeah, you can use the specs that I use as a guide if you'd like. The other thing is to also always check your relief and your string height while in the playing position. So it's pretty good. I'll just have to lower a couple of the saddles. It's important that you keep the saddles parallel to the body of the guitar, so make sure they're not kind of at an angle either way, but you can raise it to whatever height or lower it to whatever height you'd like. Okay, beautiful. Next thing to do is to check your intonation. Obviously you do that also while in the playing position. So what you want to do is fret your string at the 12th fret and check that the pitch is the same as when open. So then you might have to adjust the saddle to be back or forward depending on whether your pitch at the 12th fret is flat or sharp. Okay, so I've checked my intonation for each string and it's fine. The next thing I'll do is check the pickup height. Okay, so for my pickup height I use these brass pickup height measurement tools. I got the idea of Dave from Dave's World of Fun Stuff, so thanks Dave for using them, these are great. Basically what you do is you fret your string, your E, at the last fret, and you check, at this case I'm using I think the thickness is about 1.5 millimeters, could be wrong, but this is the one I use to check. So basically what you want to do is fret the last fret and slide this between the string and the pickup, making sure that the pickup isn't too high or too low. I can see there's a bit of a gap between my measurement tool in the pickup here, so this side of the humbucker needs to be raised just slightly. Okay, much better. Now for single coil, I go one size up for the bass side, but I use the same side for the treble. I can see this needs to go down. Using the right screwdriver always helps. And perfect. And at this stage, I'm done with the setup of the guitar. I'll just go ahead and use the other two Harron custom guitar shop products. So I've got the speed wipe and the body butter to give the guitar a clean, and it's done. Alright, and we're done. So, thanks for hanging out, and I hope you found this video useful. Feel free to ask any questions as usual. Of course, throw the video a like and subscribe if you liked it. It always helps the channel out. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out.